So, Jake, I don't think that's a bad idea, and I know that it's not illegal, but I still wouldn't do it in a school zone,
Why
or
not?
or a library, or anywhere else you were.
All I'm
talking
saying
about.
is that it is natural selection. All right. Over.
But do you have to do it with the fursuit? Is
I
my
mean,
question.
yeah.
Just because I know it's got a
If
mask.
I'm going to achieve my dream of Chainsaw Hands Bigfoot, I'm gonna need a fucking fursuit, or else I'm just Chainsaw Hands Jake.
Now that wouldn't make any sense.
I was having a conversation with my friends earlier, and I was realized very shortly after that, I was like, none of us should run for public office.
Well, I don't think any of us.
A lot of shit is going to come to light that's going to look really bad.
None of us can. Well, on that note, welcome to the Tire Preference Podcast. And I'm sitting here. I'm Jake Kennedy. I'm sitting here looking through the video screen at Tyler Kennedy.
Hi, I'm Tyler Kennedy.
And Dave Williford.
That's me. I'm Dave. Hello.
Hi, Dave.
And we're here to talk.
I don't want to plagiarize anything, but we should for Dave. Have you guys seen that FX show about Lil Dicky?
Yeah.
Dave should just be, hi, I'm Dave.
I'm Dave.
Well, I think you can't plagiarize that. So today we're gonna bring you a deep dive into the Aston Martin F1 team, the short time that they have spent in Formula One. But before that, we have some news to talk about.
Yeah, and also you've got to talk about how you came up with the deep dive on Aston Martin.
Oh yeah. I was gonna roll a dice, but I didn't have any around me, and I was like, "Fuck, I gotta choose a team so I can start research." And so I was downstairs. Mallory's playing Dying Light. And I was like, "Babe, choose a number between 1 and 10." She goes, 7. And I looked at who finished 7th in the standings last year, and it was them. So that's why they get the deep dive.
I thought that was funny when you told me.
I'm really glad she didn't hit like 1 or 3.
That would have been so awesome.
Because that would have taken a lot longer. It already took me a pretty good amount of time. I spent all day. I probably put 12 hours of research in on Wednesday and sprinkled some in here and there. Well, yeah, there was a lot to do. And I got halfway through and I'm starting to talk about
you need to see about getting a research team.
Right.
Yeah. We need at what point can we hire interns?
Like what was that? There was a TV show where they hired an intern, but like it wasn't for college credit. They weren't getting paid anything. I don't know what it was. But
coffee and some research over here, please.
My bibliography is Wikipedia and a different podcast. So
here at the Tire Preference Podcast, we're very professional.
Right. So yeah, and I kind of I'll touch on that when I'm doing my sting, but my spiel. But yeah, I was telling these guys earlier, I have 20 almost 30 tabs open, and I cannot wait for this episode to be done, and I can close them all at once.
I have like 20 tabs open on my iPhone too, and 6 or 7 of them are NSFW, and others just shit that I want to buy that I haven't bought yet that I forget about.
Just window shopping yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you want to buy those cookies, you fat ass? No,
yeah, no, you don't.
Page.
Yes, buy more purple shit for your mountain bike. Why not?
Well, this time of year is a very exciting time and a somewhat underwhelming time in Formula One. It's the time of year where we see the next year's cars. Now, this time it's a little bit more exciting because it's a completely redesign on all the cars.
Yes.
But then you'll have people like Haas and Red Bull that, I mean, the cars are a different shape, but they have the exact same livery.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
no change.
It's very exciting. It's new cars, liveries notwithstanding.
Yeah, liveries notwithstanding. And I saw some meme earlier that said, if you ever feel useless, just realize that Red Bull has a livery designer. Copy, paste. Right?
Hey, talk about an easy job.
No shit. So, touching on the cars, we've gotten three.
Yeah,
we've gotten Haas, Red Bull, and Aston Martin.
So I did watch the live stream of the Aston Martin reveal, and their number one backup driver is your boy Nico Hulkenberg.
Hey,
Hulkenberg.
I woke up really excited the other morning because I knew that the Red Bull car was going to launch, and I was like, I'm going to get up and it'll be launched. And then I saw their story, and it had been posted 5 hours prior, and it was a countdown. There were still 2 hours left. I was like, what the fuck? So they posted part of their story that there was a countdown, and it started at 8 fucking hours.
Did you see the little there's like a 2-minute video of like them starting the stream, and like everyone's there except for Max, who's showing up in the V8, the last V8 car they had.
It was the RB16, I think.
Yeah, and I don't know, like they were trying a little too hard to be funny, and it just came off as like unzipping their pants and showing us how big their dick is, pretty much. There were a couple of funny parts because like he shows up in the car and then finds his parking lot and he's doing donuts. Cut to guy in office going, "Oh, Max is here," and then like cut back to Max and he's doing more donuts and sliding around, and then it cuts to the green room and Checo's in there with one of the presenters, and he's like, "So are you really the Mexican Minister of Defense?" And he goes, "That is what they say, you know."
Yeah, then he just goes back to his phone.
Yeah. Cut to Max finally walking in the door, and then they reveal the car, which was I like when they revealed the pictures, because you wonder, like, did half the lights go off when they took the photos?
Yeah.
And then up your screen.
I saw the video that you sent me, Jake, and it was where it had all the tweets and shit on the car, and then it was like they're like, and it's a countdown, and the video was like 1 minute and 20 seconds. And like Instagram will let you do 1 minute of a video before it's like, do you want to keep watching?
Right.
And I'm like standing in someone's backyard reading their meter, watching that video, and just going like, just fucking show me the car.
Yep. So the cars have been released. And now let's touch on the news. So the man of mystery, Lewis Hamilton, is back on social medias.
Shut the front door.
And he is at he has been seen at the testing, or not the fucking facility that Mercedes has. He still has not confirmed that he's gonna be racing next year, so it's still up in the air.
But he's doing a hell of a lot of training for someone who kind of retired.
Well, yeah, true. But at the same time, he has said time and time again, he's basing his decision on to continue racing with how the results of the Abu Dhabi incident come out. And if you are someone who is truly, on that, you're not just saying that as like an excuse, like, yeah, I might come back, but I'm really not going to come back. You're going to want to train and be ready to race, or else you're going to be all kinds of fucked.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see him training really hard, like he's going to race, and then, the decision not going his way, and then him saying bye.
I'm ready to see the results of their investigation, because I am about to detach a fucking retina from rolling my eyes at the whole fucking situation.
Yeah, it's getting old.
But I did really like, Jake sent me a news story that I was poring over. The part that made me laugh was they were like, so there was this controversy at the end of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and they're like, even if they threw out the results of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Max Verstappen would still be world champion. Like,
so it looks like, from what I was reading, that there's some new audio that has been released where one of the Red Bull higher ups is on the radio with Michael Massey saying, look, you don't have to let them catch up, you just have to let them through. Go back to racing. And then Michael goes, understood, and then that's what he did. And I guess it's a rule break, but I really didn't get into it because the whole thing's really fucking confusing. But they're saying that gave Max the advantage with having one racing lap left and being on brand new tires.
Yeah, because they, again, which was something that we've covered and talked about before, Red Bull was behind most of the race, and they did decide to gamble on coming in and get fresh tires. So
yeah,
Mercedes not being on old tires is like, it's shitty. I don't know, the way I was looking at it, it was like Red Bull was given a play and they executed it. And how they got there could be marred in controversy, but it wasn't like it was Max Verstappen's decision making for that to happen. He got the green flag and he hunted Hamilton down and passed him. I will say through all of last season, I thought Verstappen was the better driver in most situations. So I feel like the universe kind of unfolded as it should. And it was,
Yeah, I mean, at times the guy can be a little reckless behind the wheel, all dangerous, but his skill is undeniable. I mean, he's a great driver.
Cool. With that being said, I think that Lewis Hamilton is a much better driver than I will ever be. So, I feel like the guy watching the Olympics on his couch when someone doesn't stick the landing, you go, you piece of shit.
Yeah, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
What else in the news? Lando signed a longer contract. With McLaren, which is good.
Lando.
Yeah, and he got a little raise out of it because apparently he had been approached by the teams because there's a few high rollers that are going to be ending their contract soon, like Max, Carlos Sainz, and Leclerc, just to name a few.
Max, I guarantee will.
I thought Leclerc was had a 5-year.
Yeah, he was when he got signed to Ferrari. That was 3 years ago. So he's only got 2025, I think, or so 2 years ago. So 2025 is when his is up, and Science is up, I think, at the end of the year.
Okay.
I thought Science got a contract extension, didn't he? Or are we still?
Oh yeah, I think they were talking. I think it would have ended at the end of this year, but it got extended. Okay, so, I think that's what happened.
I bet it's Hamilton's out of contract at the end of next season, I think. So I wonder if Hamilton didn't come back, if he would get replaced.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because then you'd have, it'd be no different. You'd have two British racing drivers driving for Mercedes. But, so the cars have been released. Nothing from McLaren yet, but Daniel Ricciardo posted a picture of his new helmet. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I do I really, really like Aston Martin's new look.
Yeah,
that car is sexy.
Yeah, I like the engine louvers. That's pretty cool. That I didn't see that on the Haas car or the Red Bull. Right. The other thing that I was expecting to see on the Haas car was a bunch of spots where it said like, your advertisement here. Call for advertisement.
That's funny.
Well, on the subject of Aston Martin, are you guys ready to get into it, or do you want to talk about the news a little bit longer?
Oh, let's good. Let's get into it.
Let's fucking do it.
Into a segment called Jake's Deep Dive.
This is the deep dive. This is the first one I've ever done. I haven't researched anything since I was in fucking high school, so I guess off the top, I'll cite my sources, Wikipedia, and I know that you can just go to the bottom of the page and click on the link, but it's a lot easier to not do that.
When we get interns, we won't do that, but for now, this is what we're doing.
I also got some information from the Beyond the Grid podcast, which did an interview with Lawrence Stroll. Stroll.
Sure, that was really. I am Lawrence Stroll, and I am the CEO of Aston Martin F1 Racing.
Right.
And I like to have fun.
So, are we ready for the Aston Martin F1 deep dive for the Tire Preference podcast?
Yes.
Okay. Aston Martin, or Aston Martin Lagonda Global Holdings PLC, as its official name is read, was founded over 100 years ago in jolly old England on January 15th, 1913. Most people will know of this car brand from the Bond movies or almost any racing game you may have played, or, Formula One.
I'm curious as to how that meeting went when they decided to become a car company. If it was just some people standing around a garage, they're like, "Yeah, let's do that." Or if it was
pretty much. And I'm not gonna give anything away, but it does involve a climax.
I was kind of hoping it was going to be something like the American Revolution, where it was like, this was started in bars from these engineers at other companies and they were super angry.
Well, Aston Martin was founded by Lionel Martin and Robert Bramford. Along with making sports cars, Aston Martin has a long history of making race cars as well. Now, we won't get too deep into the history of Aston Martin as we're just focusing on the F1 aspect of the car company, but there's still a few things that need to be looked at to help set the mood better and understand why they are the way they are. Because they're a little weird sometimes.
And that's to be expected from the British.
Sure.
Their weather sucks and their food is bland.
Yeah, it's either raining all the time or extremely humid and your balls stick to your leg.
That's all they have is like, oh, you have fish and chips for lunch and dinner, and then you have unflavored beans and weird cut bacon for breakfast.
Yeah. And it's all because their balls are constantly stuck to the side of their leg.
Yeah, God, no fucking wonder we decided to leave that country. Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
It wasn't because Americans were prude. It's like, no, the food sucks. We're out of here.
The whole island it sucks being there.
The weather horks, asshole. Okay, like it just sucks. It's fucking raining all the time, or it's hot as shit.
Yeah, and the worst part about it is like, and I don't think you really have this in the States as much, but you'll see like you'll walk into the pub looking for a bird, and you'll see this nice blonde over there, and you're like, "Oh, you fancy a drink?" She's like, "No, but I'll fancy a cigarette." you have to wake up to that every morning.
Yeah.
Did you do the laundry?
Yeah, with their fucked up ass teeth.
Yeah,
like,
horizontal teeth.
Why won't you kiss me at night?
I'm pretty sure the British have to go chew wood to keep their teeth from growing too.
Yeah. It's because your fucking ingrown ass teeth are rotting out of your face.
All right,
And the
let's not
Tire
bash too
Preference
much on the-
podcast, we're dead before we started.
We are dead. We have exiled an entire island, but Northern Ireland loves us right now.
Hey, to all of our British listeners, we appreciate you and thanks for listening.
All right, well, let's get back to Aston Martin. Now, with the company's racing pedigree running as long as the company itself has existed, it all had to start somewhere, and that somewhere was the first race car the young company built. At the time, the company was called Martin and Bramford. It wasn't called Aston Martin. The car's motor was a 4-cylinder Coventry Climax.
Ooh.
Coventry Climax.
That was
And they attached that to the chassis of a 1908 Isetta Francini.
Yes,
Not
the
sure what that
Isetta
means.
Francini.
Well, it's an
That
old
that was a sturdy frame back.
yeah.
in the day.
When you put in the Coventry Climax motor, you get great things. The Coventry Climax motor was a 4-banger used in forklifts, fire pumps, and racing cars. It was basically this big industrial motor that they used to move
Jesus Christ,
crates
and
of
fucking fire pumps.
fire pumps. They would put like 4-banger motor on these fire pumps because, well,
Why
I
not?
can't get close to that fire. Let's just shoot it from the next county over.
No, I'm just gonna look at fire hydrants and just be like, your ancestors were much tougher than you were.
I know.
Right?
And it's kind of funny if you look up the motor. There's a couple of pictures of forklifts that just have the big bold letters on the side of it. Climax.
There's something really exciting about driving a forklift.
I go to work every day. Have a climax.
Yeah. Call up me climax and climax around.
Shortly after their first race, Aston Martin. I'm just going to call them Aston Martin because it's a lot easier than going because they go through a couple different names. Aston Martin acquired its first premises at Hinnaker Mews in Kensington and rolled out their first car in March of 1950. But a little known point in history that would intervene and halt production for some years, World War I. Besides there being a war going on, therefore limiting manpower and building materials, one half of the founding duo that started the company, Bramford, went to war. During World War I, it was an extreme understatement to say that Robert Bramford fought his ass off and saw some shit. He made it through one of the hardest wars ever fought and when he made it out, he was awarded the DSO, Order of St. Anne, the Legionnaire d'Honneur, and the Victorian Cross, which is similar to our Medal of Honor.
Oh,
Or, and I quote, conspicuous gallantry at Zeeburgie, which is
conspicuous gallantry.
The Zeeburgie was a raid on a Belgian port. I couldn't find anything about Lionel Martin in World War One, but I did find this funny rumor that that didn't take place during World War One. But Lionel, always being the racer, in 1909, after not paying a fine, he was banned from driving for 2 years at Guildford. Guildford.
Wow.
He appealed at the High Court in January of 1910, but the appeal was not upheld. So for the next 2 years, he rode bicycles, gaining the fastest record from Edinburgh to York in 1911. So the man couldn't drive cars anymore, so he's like, hey, fuck you, I'm going to drive the bicycle faster than anyone's ever had.
You know, when you got the need for speed, you just got to go.
You got to go.
You got to go. After the war, the boys at Aston Martin, at the time Bamford and Martin, picked up right where they left off until 1920, when Bamford left the company. However, Martin found funding from Count Louis Zaborowski. I practiced that fucking name so many times. Count Louis Zaborowski.
Did you know the Count of Monte Cristo?
No.
Lame.
Yeah. Well, he might have. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who, as well as being Zaborowski, who as well as being a race car driver himself, also engineered cars. He also engineered cars and invented cars called Chitty Bang Bangs, which inspired the movie Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Is that for real?
Yeah, it's for real.
Article you read or something?
No, it's not an article. Well, it's Wikipedia real, so take that with a grain of salt.
Completely fabricated and made up.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh boy.
So with the new guy and new money, Martin started making new race cars with fun names like Green Pea and Razorblade.
Whoa, it's a Razorblade.
Like Razorblade. But even these cars couldn't save Martin, and with that, with a bit of nepotism. That was a bit of nepotism.
Did Razorblade kill him, or was it Green Pea?
It just it could have been a combination of the two. I think Razorblade cut Green Pea in half in an accident.
Oh shit! T-boned it.
We'll get it because he's a Razorblade. You can
Razorblade.
That was a little joke there. Soon, Aston Martin would be bankrupt in 1925. But later that year, Bill Renwick, Augustus Bertinelli, and investors including Lady Chernwood would take control of the business, change its name to Aston Martin, and created only one car called the Buzzbox.
Fuck yeah, Wild Bill Renwick. I like that they got a consortium of people together, and then they just named it Aston Martin, which
I didn't put this in the narrative, but Aston Martin was doing a lot of hill climb races at the time at this place called Austin Hills. So I think that's where they got the Austin part.
Gotcha.
Somebody's name or something the whole time.
Martin is a British slang term for ass kicker.
Right.
We're Austin ass kicker.
After Zaborowski left, you'll find that no one that has anything to do with this car company for the rest of time is an engineer of cars. It's all just people that were doing other shit that just came in to own this company.
They were just like, hey, on a lark, for shits and giggles, for chits and bang bangs, I'm gonna join a fucking car company. Fuck it.
Shitty bang.
Why not? I got the money. Yeah. I don't know what to do with it.
Fun times will not last, however, as in 1932, the car company would again see financial trouble. Aston Martin was rescued for a year by Lance Pradue. Lance Pradue. I don't know. It's some fucking French name. Last name is Byrne. Before passing to Sir Arthur Sutherland in Sir Arthur Sutherland. In 1936, Aston Martin decided to concentrate on road cars, producing just 700 until yet another World War II, halted work again.
Those nasty Germans.
I know. Production shifted to
Part 2.
Right? Part 2 with the Germans. Production shifted to aircraft components during the war. In 1947, the company was bought by a machine tools company called Dave Brown Limited.
Hey, Dave Brown.
Dave Brown.
Dave.
He's an old I got none. Go ahead.
Okay.
I was gonna say like an old war buddy, but that was terrible.
Yes.
I just like
Dave,
how
you look great for 100.
Right?
guys like I'm gonna make a
Himalayan
business. What are you
salt
gonna
rock.
call it? I'm gonna call it my name.
Yeah. Which nobody in Aston Martin up until this point has done.
Well, they did call it Martin for Brandon and Martin. Bam.
I wonder if it's just fear of
Bramford
being roasted.
Munson. What?
Yeah, Bramford and Sons.
Well, during this time, Aston Martin used some engines from none other than W.O. Bentley.
The Bentley?
The Bentley. They used some of the Bentley motors. In
Wait, they
1950,
used Bentley
Yeah.
motors?
Bentley motors. In 1950, the Aston Martin was back to racing, mostly in Le Mans. The next big
Yay.
hit from Aston Martin was the DB5, one of the most beautiful cars ever created and made famous in some of the James Bond movies. Fast forward to 1972, and Aston Martin is in financial trouble again.
Oh,
This
After
seems to
David-
be a reoccurring. It's like a reoccurring theme for them. Like
It is. It is. Let's have non-car people buy this company and try and do things, and then let's wait for it to fail.
So, like all the people that have ever taken over this company, did any of them like be like, yeah, okay, like I want your business facts or like your car facts for like the last couple of years, but like, oh, you've been sold how many fucking times because you keep running into
They
financial
probably
ruins?
did, but they were also of the mind of I've got lots of money and I can make this work. At any rate, after David Brown of David Brown Limited paid off all of his debts and handed the company for £101 to an investment bank chaired by a man with the name William Wilson.
You think that his family never lets him forget that? Like, you sold Aston Martin for $100, you fucking asshole. No, you don't get to make financial decisions in this family.
So William Wilson.
Wow.
Will Wilson, Willie Wilson, Billy Wilson. You can do. He has a lot of different names you can call him.
He's like true value William Wallace.
Yeah. Because I mean really, because he's an investment banker, which is pretty much as far opposite as a sword wielding, kilt wearing revolutionary.
I'm just saying, like name wise, like it's similar, but it's not. It's like seeing like when you can buy Dr. Pepper, like Dr. Skipper, Dr. Thunder,
Mountain Lightning.
Yeah, that was the best one.
So after William Wilson bought the company for £101, it was short-lived due to the worldwide recession and the fact that AM had trouble developing an engine to meet California emission standards. This stopped the company's sales in the US, pulling Aston Martin into receivership in 1974. In September 1975, the company sold to North American businessman Peter Sprague of National Semiconductor.
I got an idea. I got semiconductor money. I can buy your company for you guys. You guys want to do shots again?
So it's funny because I can see what you're doing. And so I can tell it looks like you're trying to hold back some projectile vomit. But anyone listening to this is just going to think you're doing this while sitting on the toilet.
Right, it does kind of have that.
Well, I mean, either way.
Come step into my
It's either
office. Leave the door open.
Yeah. It's either really drunk people that want to have this, or they're dealing with businessmen who like they don't like their toilets in the middle of their office, and they're just like, yeah, so I think that when it comes down to business.
In September of 1975, the company was sold to North American businessman Peter Sprague of National Semiconductor. George Minden, a Toronto hotelier, and Jeremy Turner, a London businessman. And because of Turner, Aston Martin was able to keep their "we are a British car company" status.
Well, thank God for that.
Thank God for that.
Yeah.
But these investors,
Thank the Queen or whatever.
Could you imagine if it was a Canadian car company? Yeah, we're Aston Martin, and we make really decent snow vehicles.
just getting
Drive them
really
a couple.
So I'm glad that you guys were able to come to the board meeting here down at the local bar. So we have set out for you, chilled Labatt Blue and plenty of poutine.
And if you like kokanee, we're sorry.
Yeah,
but
sorry,
no, we're
sorry there.
we are sorry that we were not able to secure that.
There's also
sorry about
a
that.
bit of a contention. We're gonna have to put, our big sponsors, the Canucks. No, I know. No, it's the Maple Leafs. We got the Maple Leafs. I got.
Oh, that's good. I was worried.
Yeah, we got the Maple Leafs. We got the Leafs on there. Yeah.
But we do got to wrap this meeting up because the Canucks and the Maple Leafs, that puck drops here in about an hour. So
yeah, and hey, we're not average Joes no more. We're no slumps. So let's go ahead and let's tip her 18%. Not that the 15, no 15, just go 18% on that. Not 20. We're not the Rockefellers. No 20% tip, but 18 would be more than fair.
I think 18 is good. Because we're now the. We own Aston Martin manufacturing and cars and stuff now, so we can make a little bit of money, So we should splurge and and yeah,
we're changing the name though to Aston Martin.
Oh, yes. Yeah. See, down in in the US, they always start their computer companies in garages, but up here we start our car companies in bars.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That's
good guys
great.
Though. Good guys. They
I really
They're very successful.
I really do like my Macintosh computer. I've had plenty of Microsoft products too. Bill Gates, good guy. He does a lot of good stuff. Great guy.
All right, moving on.
So,
I couldn't do anything but laugh. My face hurts from laughing. That was the most incredible thing that happened ever.
The worst part is like when Tyler and I start, we can't stop.
It just keeps going.
That like legit hurt my face.
That's good for that. All right, so with these investors who later brought on another George Flatter, a retired steel magnate, Aston Martin was back to making cool cars with fun names like the V8 Vantage, the Volante, and the one-off Bulldog. You ever seen a picture of the Bulldog?
No.
Oh my God, I will put one up. It is.
It's not on your one of 30 tabs you have open for this.
No, I couldn't spare one for the Bulldog.
Yeah, you couldn't go 31.
It looks like it looks like a tank in like an 80s sci-fi.
Oh shit.
Jesus.
Like that thing has run over xenomorphs, on the fucking with Ripley driving. That thing is fucking dope.
That looks like they saw the Countach and they're like,
I want to do something like that.
We can make that cooler. We can do it cooler.
That DeLorean guy did coke. None of us, as far as we know, do coke. So let's fucking try that.
So at this point, Aston Martin was doing so good, they had their eyes on an Italian tractor company who, not so long before this, started dabbling in manufacturing cars. You guys know who that is?
Lamborghini.
Ooh,
I knew something.
Aston Martin was eyeballing to buy Lamborghini.
Nice.
Why are they not an F1? That'd be fucking dope.
I know, right?
I don't know.
That'd
be awesome.
The Germans won't let them.
The Germans.
Yeah, because they're owned by Volkswagen. Unfortunately, the slum time known as the British Leyland era and the recession ran AM through the ringer, and they came out worse for wear.
Wait, I think I know what's coming. Go on.
With most of their investors jumping ship, Sprague announced that he was never going to be on the Team Aston Martin for the long run, air quotes, and sold AM to Victor Gauntlet of Pace Petroleum. Under Gauntlet, AM made a bit of a turnaround when they were granted a royal warrant of appointment by the Prince of Wales.
They say that the 7 times the sharp, so I guess I'll buy your company.
No shit. And in case you didn't know what a royal warrant of appointment is, it is given to companies by the crown so they can then advertise that they make products for the royal family.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Prestigious honor.
It's a pretty good get. However, this couldn't keep Aston Martin from that old friend financial trouble. So in 87, who would come to save them this time? Ford bought 75% in 1987.
Well, you couldn't buy Ferrari back in the day, so let's fucking buy you guys. Let's fucking do this. That'd be fucking cool. It'd be really fucking cool.
I'm gonna pass out before you can make any more deals, man.
Yeah.
Having a pinch.
You guys got any cigarettes? Or anything like that?
Oh, this is a Ford Motor Company executive in the fucking 80s. He was doing rails of coke and having his secretary come in and massage his feet.
Fuck yeah. Let's buy this car. Let's fucking do it. Let's fucking do this. No, I think we should really buy this car company. We can. But what I think we should do is we should just sell Ford cars, but then we'll just put like an Aston Martin sticker on it. It'd be fucking great. It'd be really fucking cool.
Well, in 93, Ford bought the remaining 25%. And while Ford was owning them, Aston Martin wasn't doing much racing at all, if any. That changed in 2004 when Aston Martin Racing was founded to manage and develop racing cars, teams, and drivers. So now let's get into AM and F1.
There we go.
AM's
the moment
first
we've all been waiting for.
Well, we've been waiting for this for a long time, but it's important to know a little bit of the history.
Oh,
So
sure.
Austin Martin's first Formula, we're still in the Wayback Machine, by the way. Austin's first F1 season was way back in, anyone want to guess?
No.
1984. 37.
No, you're both way off.
No,
67. 3. 2.
76.
No, it was 1959.
That was fucking close.
Damn it.
No. This season had some interesting things about it, and looking more into past seasons is something we'll definitely do in the future. Here's a taste of the 1959 season. Now, I didn't look too deep, but the gist is Ferrari's on top. Yes, Queen.
Woo!
And there is no returning champion from the 58 season, as they either retired or died in the 58 season.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Do we have confirmation on either one? Or?
There was a few deaths.
Wow.
From what I can tell, there were no teams that participated in all 9 rounds of the 59 season. 2 of those rounds were in the US, one at Indy and the other one at Sebring in Florida. There were around 30 teams that participated, with most only showing up for one race.
Oh, wow. They were a little loosey-goosey with a lot of the organization, sounds like.
Yeah, I was looking at the list of
only,
drivers.
Yeah, no
only
shit.
some teams are doing some of the races. It's like, what?
It was fucking chaotic. They would just show up and be like, yeah, we're racing today. And I was scrolling through the list of drivers, and I had to use my mouse button wheel 3 or 4 times. And I'm like, there's too many like this. But then when you look at it, I think there was maybe, so there was 30 teams. Some of them had 2 drivers, some of them had 3 drivers. A lot of them just 1, because it was just rich people taking their cars out to race.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do the race at Sebring, and this could be that.
Just put a new set of tires on. I want to test it out on the track.
Yeah, I'm gonna fuck some shit up, and I'll be world champion. Just do one race. So let's get out there.
So now back to Aston Martin in the 59 season. Aston Martin had high hopes to bust into the most prestigious racing division, F1, but they would go on to score no points and not even make it into all the races.
Sounds like their last season.
It was, pretty bad. So after dusting off the failure that is the 59 season, they were hungry and went into the 1960 season, taking no prisoners, and managed to only make it to 2 races only making it to 2 races with 1 car and only 1 with the other car, without scoring any points.
Could you imagine the Drive to Survive from the 50s?
Oh,
when
Jesus.
it's just oh yeah, we wrecked our car, so fuck it. We're not racing next weekend. We're not fucking doing this.
So Aston Martin then left Formula One, never to return, mostly because of shame and the whole nearly going bankrupt 7 times.
Yeah, no kidding.
Fast forward to 2021, and AM is back at it, boys.
Yeah,
Some
there we
hasty
go.
rebranding after the whole Force India debacle, which we'll touch on more in a future episode. We see Aston Martin back in its as an official team. It is thanks to a Canadian fashion wear billionaire, Lawrence Stroll.
Mr.
Yes,
Stroll.
I will gladly buy your car company, and I will turn it into an F1 team. I very much enjoy Formula One. I also like having fun. Ha ha ha. And
Now,
watching my son drive.
If there's one,
did he buy the car company or just the racing team?
we'll get into that.
Okay, here we go.
If there's one thing you need to know about Lawrence, is that he likes to own things like vintage Ferraris, 16.7% of Aston Martin, F1 teams, and F1 cars. More on that in a minute. On the surface, Lawrence seems like a Sith Lord, cold, calculated, and maybe he is. He would have to be so successful, to be as successful as he has been. But just below, he seems like a normal billionaire, very business-oriented family man. In some respects, he's a regular everyday guy. After listening to his interview with the Beyond the Grid podcast, it lets you get a rare inside look at the man and what makes him tick.
I enjoy long walks on the beaches, and I had fun one time in my life. Laughing is good for the soul.
He has the usual rich man hobbies like buying
And I
expensive
like the
cars and
color
racing
orange.
them, having a house in Switzerland and running a car company, and the F1 team. The same F1 team that his son, Lance Stroll, currently drives for. When talking about
First driver,
Lance's...
second seat.
He's first seat, but we'll get to that.
How fucking funny would that be if they just one season were like, yeah, we're not gonna renew your contract. Do you think Lawrence would tell him?
Dad?
I don't think that he would be able to go to... He wouldn't show up to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Or do you think that you would have somebody fire him?
Can I still come over and do my laundry?
Right.
I don't
He
have
doesn't
a-
work at the door anymore.
Now I don't have a career.
When talking about Lance's racing, Lawrence said that he's extremely proud of his son. He goes on to say that one of the most proud moments for him was Lance's pole in Turkey 2020, which he watched on his giant TV all the way back home in Switzerland. Now, on the surface, that might seem cold, but what parent out there has made it to every sporting event their kid has ever done?
Gee, I don't know. Maybe your dad that's a fucking billionaire.
Yeah, no shit.
And then he
Mom made it
owns
to all of them.
he owns one of the fucking teams too. So it's not like he could be included when they like buy the giant bundle of tickets. They're just like, oh, should we fucking bring Lawrence since he owns the fucking team and the car company?
So,
Sorry.
what caught Lawrence's eye and made him buy the team? Well,
His
after-
son needed a seat to drive in.
Yeah.
got him out of the house for fucking 10 months out of the year.
after Lance had gotten into Formula 4, and even before that, Lawrence is into Formula 1 racing in general. He himself had been racing for years in small heritage events with classic, more expensive than your life cars, and even dabbled in the world of Formula 1 as a minor clothing sponsor for one of the teams. He saw that running a good team was just like running a business, and I think that he liked the challenge. After Force India fizzled, he saw his opportunity, and Baba was left rebranding it Racing Point Force India. Lawrence had a certain respect for the Force India team. This respect came mostly from the team finishing midfield consistently with one of the lowest budgets of all the teams. He saw raw passion and a drive to do whatever it takes with whatever they had. So when the team owner, Vijay Mallya, who is someone else we could do a whole episode on, was accused of defaulting on all of his loans and fraud and could not afford to run Force India, Lawrence saw an opportunity. In 2018, the team was bought by Racing Point UK, who was Lawrence and some other investors. This also gave an interesting opportunity to...
I know that we're in a bar right now, but I will purchase your car team.
Okay.
I'm now going to throw up.
So after Racing Point UK, it was Lawrence and some other investors. After he bought it, it gave an interesting opportunity to the Williams driver, Lance, to come drive for Daddy's team. According to Lawrence, Lance was not having a good time in the back of the pack of the Williams. He even referred to it as torture. Now we have Racing Point in 2019. These striking F1 cars were not just these were striking F1 cars. We're not just talking about the pink paint job. These cars immediately looked very familiar. with some people
Yes.
not quite able to put their finger on it until you change the color from pink to silver. And it
Ah,
all made
yes.
sense.
The pink Mercedes.
Remember when I said that Lawrence likes to buy things like F1 cars?
Yep.
Lawrence had bought every part off the Mercedes 2019 cars that he could and had his engineers put them on his cars.
I found an online auction where I was able to purchase the old F1 car from Mercedes, and we painted it pink.
They'll never know. They'll never know.
They'll be so distracted by the color and our awesomeness on the track that they will never notice.
So I'm surprised it didn't still have the fucking little Mercedes emblem on the front of the car.
Yeah, no shit.
That's why they had to make the Racing Point a big circle so they could go over the Mercedes symbol.
Like when they were going too
This thing
fast,
just won't come off.
when they were going too fast down the track, the pink wrap they put on it started coming under. You can see the Mercedes symbol.
Well, lots of people didn't like this and called it cheating, but I'm not so sure. See, Lawrence, being a successful businessman, wants to win any way he can. He is a results man. And for a long time, the results were pretty clean that Merc makes the fast car. Mercedes was already supplying engines to the team, so why not Aero as well? Or even brake ducts? This was the main complaint from Renault. They claimed that it gave the team an unfair advantage. While it most certainly did, the whole thing was a bit confusing, especially the punishment. That being that the team, Racing Point, would be fined £359,000, and they had 15 constructor points taken away that year. That hurt more than the money for sure, as the 2020 season was already short, so there weren't that many points to go around. But, and here's the odd thing, Racing Point was allowed to keep the brake ducts for the rest of the season. Now, I'm not sure why they did that. It could be that changing something so big would make it impossible for them to continue. Either way, they took it on the chin and they kept going. So, with the old Mercs Racing Point did pretty well for themselves, finishing top 10 in 14 out of the 21 races in the inaugural season.
Checo had a great year with them that year, wasn't it?
That not in there, not well, yeah, he did, but he had an even better year the second year.
An even better year last year.
Right. Well, that was their second year. With top finishings in the fourth in the German GP from Lance Stroll. Next season, they would take the momentum and do even better in the 2020 short season, finishing in the top 10 in 16 out of 17 races. This included a pole from Lance in Turkey. They would get 3 podiums, including Sergio Perez's first ever and literally career-saving win at the Chicago Grand Prix.
Yeah, didn't Stroll get on the podium too in one of the races?
Yeah, he got on the podium, but he didn't win.
Yeah, because he had to. Daniel Ricciardo, I think, won, or so Ricciardo was on the podium and made him do a shoey. I think
that was Lando.
Well, that was at Monza.
It was Ricciardo. Yeah, it was Monza. It was Ricciardo, won, Lando, and Bottas.
I thought no, there was.
That was just last year.
Yeah.
See if I can Google that. Lance Stroll podium really quick, because I think that he had it with Daniel Ricciardo, because I remember him doing a shoey. On the podium, his first pole came in the 2017 Azerbaijan Grand Prix. The winner was Daniel Ricciardo. Valtteri Bottas was second, and Lance Stroll was third.
Was that his first pole or his first podium?
His first podium.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Because that's when he did the shoey.
Right.
And they asked him about it later.
Now that we've cleared all that up. So it's January 2020. And while most of us were stressing out about the planet ending virus, and
it wasn't
we were
until
get
March.
Toilet paper.
That wasn't until March. January, everything was kosher.
Okay. Can you at least wait until I'm done with the sentence to say the joke? Because I'll finish half the sentence and no one's going to be able to hear what I said.
No, because everything was awesome in January of 2020. Then by March, everything sucked.
People are stressing out about it and where to get toilet paper. Lawrence was shopping. And that month, he would buy 16.7% of Aston Martin, making him the majority shareholder. Then, when revealing the 2021 car, it was confirmed that Aston Martin was fucking back in beautiful racing green.
Yeah, baby. I love those.
With a new tested world champion in seat 1. No, actually, the 4-time world champion was in seat 2. Seat 1 never lost its Lance Crease.
This is also after a very, 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 very brief tenure at Red Bull.
Yes. Where he
It was-
won all of his championships.
No, I'm talking about Aston Martin. They were like a title sponsor for Red Bull for one season.
They did, yeah. That was almost not worth mentioning because they basically
I
they
do
just
remember
paid money to
seeing
put
them
their
on the
sticker
back of
on.
the-
Yeah,
They
Yeah.
bought a sticker because I think they were buying Honda power plants at the time, I believe.
they were. Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
So yes, the seat one did not actually ever lose its Lance crease. Yes, the team had signed on Sebastian Vettel. See, Checo's contract had ended at the end of 2020 season, and it looked like the beloved Mexican driver would never be seen again. Then Chicago Grand Prix happened, and a quote from one of the Sky TV presenters says it all. Whoever doesn't pick up Checo after this season will live to regret it. And some very big ears heard that. And those were the satellite dishes on the side of Christian Horner's head. Checo was saved by an energy drink company as their number 2 to Max. But more on that when we look at Red Bull.
Yeah.
Vettel. What can't you say about this guy? Except that he is
He
one
kicked
of the,
ass at Ferrari.
he's one of the nicest people you ever meet. I
Can't
remember
really say
hearing a
that.
story of a dad and his young son. I think it was at Coda in Austin, Texas. The guy is there with his kid to see the F1 race, and I think he was coming back from. They had general admission tickets, and he was coming back from lunch at the hotel or whatever. And they ran into Vettel, and he was leaving to head to the track for testing. The man tried to get a autograph and a picture with his son, but Vettel didn't have time, and he was running late and left. The kid was crushed, and the dude was bummed. But hey, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna
Well,
do?
What are you gonna do?
If you're Vettel, you have one of your guys find out who the father was. You can get him an autograph and pay and give him dinner money for his kid and get him some friggin' pit passes so that kid can get his goddamn picture, which is what he did.
Nice.
He's a stand-up guy.
I do like
Real stand-up guy there.
when I did the tour of Coda a couple years ago, they showed us a spot. I think this was before they had all the big TV screens at Coda, which is really not a bad seat in the house there, but there was a lot of people that kind of missed out on what was going on. And this was, Texas is like Austin's like the middle of the season. It's not the end where it's like, okay for them to do donuts.
Right.
So Seb won the race and he came up to a corner and started doing donuts, knowing full well he was going to take the fine, but it was for a spot. I think he thought that no one got a really good view of everything.
Right.
So he just, in the cool down lap, pulls over there and pulls a bunch of donuts, paid the fine for it. And for years, like the rubber just sat there because it's like off the track in a random spot.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Other cool things that Vettel has done. He stayed after race to help clean up.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's classic. That's
He built a
awesome.
hotel for bees.
And
And not least of all,
Doesn't love honey.
he put on a all-female race in Saudi Arabia. The guy's a legend, and
That,
he
I
will
thought,
be
was-
getting his own episode at some
That
point.
was fucking classic. That was a great move.
yeah,
I
love
and
it.
he's very, very quiet on social media. Like it wasn't up until like I think it was last season before I finally noticed he had a wedding ring. And I think he's got
Right.
kids too.
Yeah,
But
I
he's
think like his social media is pretty much just his career and shit. He doesn't really
he
put
doesn't
his
even
personal
have,
stuff on there.
he doesn't have like a personal Instagram page. Like all of his Instagram pages are just standard.
Vettel official. Yeah.
I think he was really close with Schumacher, and Schumacher was very private as well.
Mhm. Maybe
And
it's
he
just a
does
German thing.
just did the race of champions with Michael Schumacher too. So
Yeah.
or not Michael Schumacher,
Mick.
his son Mick, which when Sebastian Vettel was younger and Mick was still Michael was still racing, those two did the race of champions together. So now Sebastian Vettel's doing it with Michael Schumacher's son. And I think that's really cool.
Oh. Right.
Not an asshole.
Not an asshole. He's a good dude. So now with Daddy's boy earning his allowance, but good, and a seasoned German driver, things are looking good for Aston Martin team. I was personally excited to see Aston Martin in F1. I wasn't mad about Vettel being on the team either. AM has always been one of my favorite car manufacturers and racing teams in American Le Mans. But the 2021 season would be a step back for the debut team with a top finishing position of only fifth. positions of fifth, both from Vettel, and only reaching the top 10 in half the races, either one of the guys. They also had a disqualification in Hungary for having less than a liter of fuel in Vettel's car post-race. The team finished seventh out of 10 in the Constructors' Championship, scoring only 77 points. So now we look to next year with the new cars to see if this team can bring themselves back and crack the top 5. Lawrence Stroll's incredibly optimistic, talking highly of their new facility at Silverstone. So who knows? Maybe this will be the year Aston Martin gets the ship, but with teams like Merc, Red Bull, and Ferrari all in front of them, it's a tall order. Still, best of luck. And that's the deep dive on Aston Martin.
Yeah,
not too much on their Formula One career because they've only done 4 seasons.
Yeah, so no, but that was good. I liked it.
That was well done.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You really put in some time on that. Nice.
yeah.
I appreciate your effort.
Thank you for your effort. It is much appreciated.
You're
No, I'm hoping with the next season, with all the cars and everything being with the huge change in rules, that if they can breach the top 5,
So
I'm hoping it's a closer title fight. Like, having been a longtime Red Bull fan, and when I first got into Formula One, I was a Ferrari fan. That's them, Ferrari, Red Bull, and Mercedes. Those have been the top 3 teams. So it'd be nice to see.
what made your change? What made you switch teams?
It's Red Bull's marketing really fucking did it for me.
Yeah.
They would, because Ferrari and Mercedes are these teams where they're like, okay, we're really serious, we're business.
I do kind of feel
Ferrari.
that, and then you get in Red Bull, and it seems like it's more like wild and crazy and
Red Bull's like
cutting edge, extreme.
Hell yeah! Like we've paid for this F1 team, and then at the end of it, they're like, all right, now we have 2 F1 cars, so yeah, fuck it, let's put snow tires on it and see what we can do. They're like, all right, let's drive through that tunnel between New Jersey and New York, and I don't know. I've always really liked Red Bull's marketing in the extreme sports thing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what did it for me. And seeing, Daniel Ricciardo, I always really enjoyed him. And, when they had, back when it was Toro Rosso, AlphaTauri now, but, they got Max Verstappen. So you see all these people, they have a pretty well-defined junior team. So it was nice seeing like the people that were
development of drivers. Yeah,
exactly.
It's like, I'm a huge baseball fan. I like paying attention to what's going on in the farm systems. So yeah, same kind of thing. Yeah.
That was Baseball Corner of the TPP podcast.
TPP podcast.
There's some PP heads out there that like fucking baseball.
That's true.
Or rubbers or whatever we're calling our fans.
The Rubber Army.
The Rubber Army. Let's see, all 3 of them. It's like all of our significant others are the only fans of the podcast right now.
Well, we still got to put one out.
Yeah, we haven't released one.
And actually, this is going well. I think this might be the one.
I think if we can get it
released.
This could be the first one to be released.
Well, thanks for listening to the Tire Preference Podcast. We hope after this that you're still a fan of F1 and podcasts.
Yeah, and we didn't.
People in general.
We love the British people.